We're back. The international break is coming to a close. The Championship returns with round 12. Here are my bold predictions. 1. Thanks for the memories. Now, you know I love a managerial return at the best of time, but round 12 gives us two managers going up against clubs who'd have not only managed before, but also won promotion with. Two-time Championship title winner with Norwich, Daniel Farke, returns to Carrow Road for the first time as an opposition boss with Leeds United, while Stoke City host the Sunderland side that their current boss, Alex Neil, took up from League One just 17 short months ago. It's the away sides that are looking good in these two games, with Sunderland up in 4th and Leeds in 5th. So we're going to go with a Farke win with Leeds, but a Neil defeat with Stoke. Of course, we need to bolden that up a little. Leeds to win at Norwich, Sunderland to win at Stoke, both teams to score in both games. 2/3. If we bring up the form table, Rotherham, Blackburn and QPR have all had 4 defeats in their past 6 games. That's 2/3 of their previous block of matches ended in failure. Can they change things up this next run? Well, Blackburn might be the most likely, as their 2 victories in the previous 6 means 6 valuable points did go on the board, and they won convincingly last time out too. Rovers host Cardiff, whose 4-game winning streak is now 2 games winless. QPR go off to Huddersfield with the opportunity to reel the Terriers in at the bottom of the table, but Huddersfield haven't lost the home game since back in August. Rotherham have the toughest task on paper. They face my lot, Ipswich, on the Friday night TV game. I will be there, so look out for the vlog early on Saturday morning. I love a win, lose, draw on these 3-game groups, and you'll get just about 10-1 on Blackburn to win against Cardiff, QPR to draw at Huddersfield, and Rotherham to lose at home to Ipswich. By the way, speaking of Rotherham versus Ipswich, I've just been on the FanHub app predicting my lineup for Ipswich for Friday night. If you want to get involved, get rewarded for following your team, then go and download the app, enter using my special golden ticket code, Ben-HVI. 3. First steps. We've got 2 new managers making their debuts after being hired into the Championship during the international break, and it's the classic, one very familiar, one not very familiar. At Sheffield Wednesday, Danny Roll is heading off to Watford for his first game in charge of the Owls. They're still after that elusive first win, but the Hornets are down there in the bottom 5 as well. Roll was, of course, the not very familiar name, and the familiar one, Wayne Rooney, back in the Championship with Birmingham, and Game 1 sees him taking on his old teammate Michael Carrick up at Middlesbrough. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but both Roll and Rooney are odds on to lose on their debut, but we can't cover that on the Bold Predictions show. Let's go for both new bosses to leave with something on debut. You will get 13-1 on both Rooney and Roll to draw on their debut. That's Watford v Wednesday and Borough v Blues to end all square. 4. More of the same. You never quite know whether an international break is going to stop a streak or keep it going. I guess depending on what the streak is, that might be a good thing or a bad thing. Leicester, for example, are on a crazy winning streak already. 10 out of 11 and 6 in a row going into their trip to Swansea. And according to my sources, nobody in the 121-year history of the second tier has won their first 6 away games on the bounce. Can Leicester make history again? You'd think it won't be straightforward, as Swansea have won 4 on the bounce themselves, but if Leicester are going to be the 100-point side that we think they might probably be, then pretty much everything is going to be straightforward this season, frankly. Preston's streak is pointing in the other way. 3 defeats in a row going into the international break. They did have away games against the top 2 during that and are at home to a fairly middling Millwall side. Coventry have started to dot in a couple of wins, but they've had the most draws in the division so far and did a run of 5 draws in 6 games throughout August and September. They're off to an evenly matched side in Bristol City, tied with them on points in the table. We can't go more of the same, as that is clearly not bold enough. So even though it's not quite so specific, let's use the word not to liven things up and say Leicester to not win, Preston to not lose, and Coventry to not draw. Figure that one out in your own time. 5, best behaviour. The yellow card table is always an interesting topic, and we've got a nice couple of matchups as a result. Southampton have the most yellows this season, and Hull the third most. They meet at the MKM, while West Brom and Plymouth are both in the bottom 4 for the fewest yellows, and they go head to head at the Hawthorns. In theory then, West Brom v Plymouth should be very well behaved, and Hull v Southampton very badly behaved. The numbers tell us that we should be getting about 3 yellow cards total with West Brom Plymouth and 6 with Hull versus Southampton. Of course, for the sake of bold predictions, let's flip that completely and predict the following. Hull versus Southampton, 3 yellow cards or fewer. West Brom versus Plymouth, chaos, 6 yellow cards or more. There you have it, the latest set of bold predictions for round 12 in the EFL Championship. Let me know what you think of my takes, or better still, come up with your own down there in the comments. There's a bit of a relegation special yesterday on the channel, so click here to stay with us right now and look at the bottom 3 and where the Sheffield Wednesday, QPR and Rotherham are destined for the drop.